People often ask why the modern mind never seems to rest. They blame the economy, politics, technology, or the pressure of success. But I believe the real problem lies much closer than that. It begins the moment you mistake yourself for the endless stream of thoughts passing through your mind. From the instant you wake, your attention is stolen by yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's responsibilities. You rush through breakfast thinking about work, spend the afternoon worrying about the future, and return home too exhausted to notice the people you love. Then you wonder why life feels empty. But how could it feel otherwise? You have been physically present all day, yet psychologically absent from every moment you lived. We have become experts at preparing for life while forgetting to experience it. We postpone joy until the weekend, peace until retirement, and happiness until some future version of ourselves finally feels complete. Yet tomorrow behaves like the horizon. It moves farther away every time we approach it. If life exists only now, then tell me, why do so many people spend almost all of it somewhere else?
Alan, your observation touches something profoundly true. Yet, I cannot help asking another question. If a person suddenly learns to remain present, but never examines the beliefs directing their life, have they truly become free? Consider how easily society teaches us what deserves admiration. Before children learn to reason, they are already told that success means earning more, owning more, achieving more, and being admired by more people. Those ideas quietly become the foundation of their identity. Decades later, they chase goals with remarkable discipline, never asking whether those goals actually belong to them. They mistake inherited ambition for personal purpose. To me, this is the deepest form of slavery, not chains upon the body, but invisible assumptions governing the mind. The unexamined life does not merely create confusion. It silently robs a person of the freedom to choose. Therefore, I ask you, is presence enough if the direction of one's entire life remains unquestioned?
A beautiful challenge, Socrates. But let me ask you in return. Can endless questioning become another form of imprisonment? Look carefully at the world around us. Never have people analyzed themselves so relentlessly. They measure their productivity, monitor every emotion, compare every achievement, and criticize every imperfection. They believe another book, another podcast, another strategy, or another breakthrough will finally allow them to relax. Yet the more they pursue certainty, the more anxious they become. Their minds resemble muddy water that grows cloudier each time they try to stir it into clarity. Understanding is certainly valuable, but there comes a moment when thought itself becomes the obstacle. The tree never wonders whether it deserves to grow. The river never doubts whether it is flowing correctly. Only the human mind wages war against its own existence. Perhaps wisdom is not found by thinking without end, but by discovering the silent awareness that has always existed beneath thought. Tell me honestly, my friend, when does self-examination stop revealing truth and begin preventing us from simply living?
Your question deserves careful thought, Alan, because I agree that thinking without purpose can become another kind of prison. But there is a profound difference between endless thinking and honest examination. Endless thinking circles around fear, repeating the same worries without ever discovering truth. Honest examination cuts directly through illusion. Imagine a man who spends his entire life chasing wealth because everyone around him says wealth is success. He works harder each year, sacrifices his health, neglects his family, and eventually reaches the top, only to discover that the emptiness inside him has grown alongside his bank account. Was his suffering caused by too much questioning? No, it was caused by never asking the right question. Philosophy is not the accumulation of thoughts, it is the removal of false ones. We do not question life to become more confused. We question it until confusion disappears. Every false belief abandoned makes the soul lighter. Every illusion exposed restores a little more freedom. So I ask you, Alan, if people refuse to challenge the stories they have believed since childhood, how can awareness alone free them from a prison whose walls they cannot even see?
It cannot, unless awareness becomes deep enough to reveal those walls without turning their destruction into another battle. That is where I believe modern humanity becomes trapped. People imagine that every problem must be defeated through greater effort. They try harder to relax, harder to become confident, harder to become spiritual, and even harder to become happy. Do you see the irony? They transform peace into another achievement and presence into another performance. But life has never worked that way. Listen to the wind moving through a bamboo forest. It does not force its direction, yet it reaches every leaf. Watch a river flowing around a mountain. It does not conquer the rock through violence. It simply continues until the obstacle no longer matters. Nature accomplishes effortlessly what the anxious mind tries to achieve through constant struggle. Human beings have forgotten that they are part of this same living intelligence. They believe life is a machine that must always be controlled, optimized, and improved. Yet the tighter they grip it, the more frightened they become of losing it. Perhaps freedom begins not when we finally control everything, but when we stop believing that control is the price of being fully alive. Tell me, Socrates, if a person cannot sit quietly with themselves for even a few minutes without reaching for distraction, is their greatest problem ignorance? Or have they simply forgotten how to be?
I would say they have forgotten both. A person who cannot remain alone with their own thoughts has not merely lost silence, they have lost the opportunity to know themselves. Yet silence by itself is not enough. One may sit quietly for hours and still carry the same illusions into the next day. That is why I insist upon examination. Ask yourself, why do I fear failure so deeply? Why does another person's success disturb me? Why do I seek approval from people whose opinions change with every passing trend? These questions are not meant to increase suffering. They are meant to expose it. Most people spend years decorating the prison they never realized they were living inside. They improve their income while neglecting their integrity. They strengthen their reputation while weakening their character. They become successful in the eyes of the world while remaining strangers to themselves. True wisdom begins when a person has the courage to remove every borrowed belief until only what is genuinely their own remains. Only then can peace become something that cannot be bought, borrowed, or taken away.
And yet, Socrates, I wonder whether people are sometimes too determined to become someone, instead of discovering that they already are enough. Modern culture teaches that life is a ladder with no highest step. There is always another promotion, another house, another title, another version of yourself, waiting somewhere in the future. But the moment you define your worth by becoming, you quietly reject the person who exists today. This is why even successful people often feel empty. They have achieved everything, except the ability to enjoy what they have achieved. The musician who thinks only about the final applause never hears the beauty of the melody while playing it. The traveler who becomes obsessed with the destination never notices the landscape unfolding outside the window. Life is not a problem waiting to be solved. It is an experience, asking to be lived. The greatest illusion is believing that happiness will finally arrive, after one more accomplishment. In reality, happiness is not the reward for reaching the mountain. It is the awareness that accompanies every step of the climb. Perhaps, then, our disagreement has been smaller than it first appeared. You encourage people to remove illusion through honest questioning. I encourage them to dissolve illusion through quiet awareness. Different methods, the same awakening. Both ask human beings to wake from unconscious living. We both see the same tragedy. People surrender today's life for an imagined tomorrow. They sacrifice peace for approval. They confuse busyness with purpose and achievement with identity. The world tells them, become more. Nature quietly whispers, first, learn to be. Maybe wisdom begins the moment a person stops asking, how can I become someone worthy of life? And begins asking, why have I forgotten that life itself is already the greatest gift? If that realization takes root, success becomes something to enjoy rather than something to worship. Peace ceases to be a distant destination. It becomes the quiet ground beneath every ordinary moment. Then let this be my final invitation to everyone listening. Stop waiting for life to begin after your next achievement. Stop believing peace is hiding behind a larger paycheck, a perfect relationship, or the approval of strangers. None of those things are wrong, but they cannot give you what they do not possess. Peace is not a destination waiting somewhere in the future. It is a way of meeting this moment. Look carefully at nature. The river never rushes because another river is flowing faster. The moon never apologizes because it cannot shine like the sun. Everything in existence fulfills its purpose simply by being fully what it is. Human beings alone have forgotten this. We spend years becoming someone while overlooking the miracle of simply being alive. If you can sit quietly with yourself, appreciate an ordinary morning, listen deeply to another human being, and greet each day without constantly asking it to become something else, then you have already discovered a wealth that no market can measure and no circumstance can ever take away. Perhaps the greatest freedom is realizing that the life you have been searching for has never been somewhere else. It has been patiently waiting beneath the noise of your own mind.
Elaine, our conversation has shown me that truth is rarely divided by opposing philosophies. More often, it is revealed through different paths leading toward the same summit. You have reminded us that a mind trapped in endless striving can never experience the richness of the present. I have argued that a person who never examines their beliefs can never know whether the life they are living is truly their own. Together, these insights complete one another. Awareness without reflection may become complacency, while reflection without awareness becomes endless overthinking. True wisdom is born when we have the courage to question what is false and the humility to embrace what is real. Therefore, let every person ask themselves one final question. Not tomorrow, not next year, but today. If everything you have spent your life chasing were suddenly taken away, would you still know who you are? If the answer is uncertain, do not despair. Begin there. Question honestly. Live consciously. Be fully present. For a meaningful life is never measured by how much you accumulate, how loudly the world applauds you, or how far ahead you stand in the race. It is measured by the truth you discover within yourself, the peace you carry through every circumstance, and the courage to live each ordinary day with an awakened mind and an honest heart. Do not merely survive the years that are given to you. Understand them, experience them, and in doing so, truly live.